3, 2, 1.
This is the Mac Media Show.
Welcome to the Mac Media Show. My name is Mac.
And I'm Ree.
Hello, this is the Me and Ree review show on every Thursday. In this series, we're doing $1 Million Listing LA. We love the show. We've been watching for a long time, and we've got two new guys on the show this week. And first of all, before we get into it, Ree, excuse me, I got to announce some
that's fine.
pretty cool changes.
Yeah.
Really quick, because I want to get into the show. I don't want to bore anybody.
Sure.
Announcements are for this show, this series, when the Mac Media Show launches, which could be a week or two from now. Go to the MacMediaShow.com and you can find the schedule of everything else that's going on if you're interested. If not, if you just like LA, that's fine. But this show will be live after $1 Million Listing LA airs on the East Coast every week. And we're going to talk live to people. We have a number that people can call in and give their opinions. And we're going to also look forward to maybe having some guests on. I've been in talks with, not about coming on the show, but we've just been communicating about the show with James and David on LA, the show. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to maybe have them call in and we'd be able to talk to them for the review show. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting idea that I'm playing around with, and if James and David are listening, I know they listened last week. We'll maybe talk about that on Twitter and see what we can work out if y'all would like to do that. Mm-hmm. So that's it. That's the announcement. We're going to be live next week, and we'll be able to do phone calls. We'll be able to have people comment and work together on a review show, more like a community, because we're doing a whole bunch of tweeting during the show. We're doing a lot of live tweeting. I'm going to share some tweets this week that we talked with some people last night, including James and David, and just some other people, and got some opinions. So we're going to do that, but we're going to do it live so we can capture that in the moment. And it'll be a lot of cool. What do you think, Ree? You think that'd be pretty cool?
Oh, I'd love it.
I think it's going to be great.
Live. It would be interesting to get their take on what's going on the show, and probably some things in the background that are going on that we don't know about. So it would be interesting. Yeah.
I think so. All right, well, let's talk about LA now. And first, I want to apologize. Last week, we were new. We just met David and James, but I called them the brothers.
Yeah.
I did say their names, but it was disrespectful to call them the two British guys. And I don't think they took offense, but I know they're watching the show and they watched it last week, so I wanted to properly address them. Their names are James and David. Mm-hmm. They've been doing real estate in LA for 2 or 3 years.
3 years.
3 years, and they're blowing up. They're doing huge money and just really hot in LA, and doing a great job. They came from London, and they're really good friends. Not brothers, so I'm going to hopefully not get that confused this week. So we learned a little bit more about them. Yeah. But from now on, I don't want to address them as the two British guys. That's just kind of disrespectful, don't you think, Ree?
What if we call them the Brits?
No. They call them James and David.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, but if you get to talking and you think brothers, go Brits.
Okay, well, I see what you're saying.
Brother. Yeah.
See, the problem is if we say brothers, then we're thinking the Altman brothers.
Yeah, I know. I keep forgetting. So
you got to be careful.
What's funny to me, I don't think of them.
Talking to the mic, Ree.
It's just funny. I don't think of them as the brothers for some reason. I don't know why. I think of Altmans as separate.
You think of the Altmans as friends.
Yeah, why do I feel that way?
It's different. It's like the Altmans are...
Okay, it's not just me. You feel that way?
I feel that way too. It's like the Altmans are friends.
Yeah.
And the British... British guys,
brothers.
James and David...
You're right.
See, I got a bad habit. James and David are like brothers. See,
That's
more
right.
like brothers to me.
That's right.
But anyways... We've got to be more specific.
Yeah, but they are good. And it's fun to watch them. It was a good addition to the show, I think.
It was. So, we'll talk about our opinions this week on $1 Million Listing LA. A lot happened. Poor Edith passed away.
She did. And they had in memory of Edith, the show. They'll probably do that all season because...
I hope, and I wanted to address that at the very beginning because she was really sweet, and for new viewers of LA... you did get to see her in the episode, and I saw a lot of people on Twitter that were really sad to hear.
Yeah, I hated that. She was really neat, and he thinks the world of her, and he, evidently he did say last night, I didn't realize that she had half raised him too. So,
wow,
yeah, that's really sad. She was. It's fun to have a grandparent that you can relate to that way, and she's in a much better place now, and she had a great life. She was, 93? Mm-hmm. So she had a great life. But, yeah, we miss her. We miss her.
She's a sweet lady, it seemed like.
Was.
Wish you could meet somebody like that every day.
She was.
All right, so rest in peace, Edith. But we saw some previews for the future of LA this season. They look great. We were talking to James and David on Twitter, and they said, "Stay tuned; it gets much better." And I'll post some tweets up of who we were talking to last night. One in particular, I wanted to, before we start on what we want to talk about, Sarah on Twitter. I'm trying to get her name right here. Sarah MG Dillon. We got into a conversation last night, and I just tweeted, I think James and David are going to prove Altman wrong next week, and we want to talk about how Altman is verbally abusing James and David, and our thoughts on that. I don't think it's right, but I said that they were going to kick his butt, because they're kicking butt right now, and Sarah said, I totally agree. I hope they stay grounded. Love the lack of arrogance, which I did too. They're very humble,
earth,
seems
right.
like. Altman is not. And we don't know what's real on TV or not.
That's right. That's right. We have to put that into the equation, because I think, and when I used to meet people in real estate that had the arrogance of Josh, you tended to say, if you're that confident in what you're doing, then the competition's not going to bother you. You're always going to have your piece of what you want. Yep. So I look at that as he needs to back off because he's making himself look silly. Yep. They've already proven that they did $100 million last year. Supposedly he did 250.
They did 120,
and he's been there 3 years. And the guys have been there 3 years, and I think that's pretty good, because I think Altman's been in it longer than that. So, I think he needs to kind of back off a little bit and have a little more respect. That's just me, but it could be TV. You're right. I agree.
So anyway, Sarah said, "Love the lack of arrogance," and David said, "Plan on it, kicking his butt." And James said, "Indeed, through and through."
Did you notice last night, though, that they got into some personal stuff?
Well, I'll tell you, we saw that James. We got to learn more about James, and to get personal, James is. I'm telling you, it's tough putting your life out there. But he said at one point he was, what was it doing? Drinking and
big
drugs.
Partier. Big partier.
And was at the nightclubs every night. And, and
isn't that wild?
Yeah, and got
I would have never guessed that about him. I would have never thought it.
Yep, and popped out a baby, and
he said when she got pregnant, he changed his whole life.
Yep,
and said it has completely been different since then.
Yep.
But that's neat.
Isn't that incredible?
That's neat.
I mean, that's just great. And I saw a lot of tweets on Twitter about it was great to see James as a family man, family first. And okay, David said he was having a meltdown. James was having a meltdown. I didn't think so.
Me either.
I didn't think he was having a meltdown. I felt like James just disagreed with the strategy, the marketing strategy. And I want us to talk about that. Reed, do you agree or disagree with the strategy of partnering with Equinox and creating content with the house being used in the content in order to get people looking at the property, getting buzz and attention around the property itself? And first of all, let's describe the property for everybody listening. The property is $48 million. And I know Josh Altman was sick when he heard that James and David got a $48 million property listing. Yeah. When I first saw it, I think it was something around 10,000 square feet. Don't quote me. But it was on a 1.3 acre lot, somewhere around there. And it just didn't look like a house that would be in course. They don't show us the whole place on camera. They give us a brief overview of the house. But at first glance, I just would not have imagined it been over 10 million, and they said 48 million, and I thought, wow. I think that may be the most expensive listing we've ever seen on $1 Million Listing, New York, LA, or Miami.
I think so.
I mean, it's up there, and for the new guys to get a listing for 48 million was incredible. And I know Josh was jealous when he found out, and I know it made him sick because. And Flagg, too. Flagg claims to be the most established. And if he's not getting that property, something's not good. We'll talk about Josh Flagg later. But I wanted to get your opinion on their marketing strategy and whether or not you think creating content with the house being used opposed to direct calling, doing the traditional real estate marketing through networking and international buyers. What's your opinion?
I'm not exactly sure on that, honestly. I kept watching it. And I kept thinking when they were doing the Pilates thing, what did they say? It was going to be a 2-minute video, and it was taking them 4 days to do it. But my problem was when I was seeing the, kind of when they were doing the, I guess the dailies is what you call it, I didn't see any house really that anybody's going to ask about. It was more I mean, and it was based on Pilates. I don't really understand that. I don't understand if when they do this video, are they going to say maybe include an overview of the house, kind of pan the house or something, and say this house is for sale if you're ever interested in looking at it, whatever. I don't know if they're going to include that. I would want that included, because if I were them and I just saw that video doing the Pilates, I'm not looking at the house. If I'm watching the Pilates video, I'm not looking around at the house and going, wow, I want to look at that house, unless they're going to do it differently than I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I don't know.
I agree. If it's what we've seen, they only show us portions of the
Right.
filming process, but the little bits that we did see, it was focused on the Pilates.
Right.
And,
So I'm
and
not
of
really
course,
sure
their
about
thinking
that.
was, if we show the environment that she's in, and supposedly Equinox is like the best gym in the fitness
Right, I understand
world.
that.
So
yeah.
I imagine they have expensive clientele. So it is hitting their market of potential buyers, but like you said, it depends on how focused it is on the content, and are they even going to mention in the video if the house is
Right.
listed?
And it could
for
be a
sale.
partnership there. They
It could
say,
be.
after the Pilates part's over, they may say, this house is located so-and-so. They were gracious to let us use it.
Well, I think
it's for
have
sale
to.
if you're interested. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I see a connection with. And see, I think that's why James was pushing it, because he didn't see the value.
Right. Unless they think that, let's just say, they are, maybe say they're doing online marketing. Like I saw on their step 1, 2, 3,
right.
they had social media.
Right.
Okay. So if they're doing some online marketing, they may want to use this content on property listings. Like they have websites that they list the property on, luxury websites probably. And when they do that, having a cool piece of content like a Pilates workout or training DVD to show people instead of just a video walkthrough tour of the home. It is a very unique piece of content.
That is true.
And it is very attractive.
That's true.
So if they use it that way, maybe.
Yeah.
But if they're using the video and the training DVD to attract buyers without sharing that themselves, I think they may be in trouble on that. And
There's got to be more to it.
There's gotta be more to it.
Wasted. These guys would not have let them use the house for 4 days.
well, and James and David are smart. They're not going to waste their time. And I think
Right.
I don't know, James. I felt like they were wasting their time.
I think he felt that way. He kind of intimated that. He never said it on the show, but I felt that from him. And I feel like time is of the essence with this, too, because people of this magnitude don't want this house sitting around for 90 days like they do normal homes and say, okay, what's going on with it? They want
Right.
immediate reactions. And they want to know that these people are selling the heck out of this place.
Yep.
And I think James is feeling like we've wasted 4 days,
Yeah.
not targeting any kind of markets.
Well, I
I would
think-
think international market's going to be where that's going to come from. I don't know.
You do not think?
I do.
Oh, I think so,
I think it's
too.
going to be an international buyer.
I think
really
so
do.
too. And if they have the contacts they say they do, I don't think they'd have a problem just networking.
Yeah.
For a house, because I mean, an additional piece of content like a Pilates DVD training or training DVD, I mean, it's great for those international buyers. It looks like this is true luxury. These guys have created a nice piece of content around the home. So if they want to use that for international buyers. But I think what James was arguing to David was we need to do both. And we need to be calling people right now while this video is being made, because he said the video is not going to be released for another month.
That's right. No, not
or
one month, it's another week.
Another week, okay.
But
so,
still, those days are ticking away.
Sure.
And with a 48 million, you got to jump on it.
Yep.
Because they'll pull that listing from
Well,
them.
the client.
Yeah, they'll get.
Did we meet? Yes, we did meet. We met the client's representative.
Exactly. They were hoping to meet. I think it was Alejandra.
Alejandro.
Yeah, something like that. And they got there, and they've been trying. It's been bugging him to death about getting the listing.
Right.
And he was in New York, and Stefano showed up, or Stefano. What was his name? Stefano. Anyway,
that was
showed
it.
up.
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Yeah, he. I think it was Stefano. He showed up as his representative, and and that is not always a good sign, which is what they said. But in this case, it turned out to be a really good sign. I mean, it turned out to be good, and they are in line to get a 1.2 million commission. Can you imagine?
Yep.
Can you imagine?
Yep.
But
Yep.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was good too, and I think if we saw them doing both at the same time, I think that's what I would agree with. Mm-hmm. I like to pick a side. I don't like to say either or.
Me either.
So I think I would pick with James, and I would argue that, yes, creating content's important, and doing what you're doing is great, and it's going out to lots of people at Equinox, but I think also include the direct calling, because it doesn't matter when or how you get a buyer. You do everything you can to get a buyer.
Well, any exposure.
So you don't
is
pick
good
one and do the
exposure.
other. But David was arguing that, yes, we are including that in the plan. He said, look, here's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Here's direct calling. But he wasn't on the phone. So the only difference I would do is just get on the phone. Start calling.
Yeah.
You've got those international clients already. Get
Yeah.
in touch with them. And they'll do that. We'll see it next week. That'll be interesting to follow up with.
Well, you remember in New York when Ryan got that property?
Yeah.
And he had all his reps or his team calling internationally. He had somebody speaking
Yep.
Japanese. He
Yeah.
had one speaking.
Yeah.
And they were all
Yep.
sitting there together.
Yeah.
And he got an offer over the phone
Yeah.
from a foreign investor.
You know, it's funny, too, is Altman's starting to do that now that they're on a
Oh,
level
yeah.
of luxury.
Yeah.
He said, I'm learning Mandarin, I'm learning Russian, I'm
Yeah, he
learning,
did.
you know. I mean, when you get to that level, foreign buyers are, and it doesn't matter how those people are getting their money,
Right.
but they are. So,
Well, and he did that in the show last night.
Yep.
When he was talking he had 3 reps there.
We'll
One
talk
was
about
Asian.
Altman. We got to
Yeah.
take a break. We're going to
Okay.
talk about
Okay.
Altman and Flagg when we get back.
All right.
We're going to take a quick break and get our mics in check, and then we'll be right back, everyone. This is the Mac Media Show. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It is free, and don't forget to like the video. Visit themacmediashow.com, check out the schedule, visit the swag shop, become a guest on the show, or submit a question. Do it all on themacmediashow.com. Welcome back. This is the Me and Review Show. We're talking about $1 Million Listing LA. We just finished up talking about James and David, about the marketing strategy, what our thoughts were, how they would move forward, and whether we're looking forward to seeing next week what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting. So now we want to talk about Josh Altman and Josh Flagg. Mm-hmm. Who do you want to talk about first, Ree?
Let's talk about Josh Flagg. We hadn't said anything about him.
All right.
He's kind of quiet. He was kind of quiet at the open house when Josh was talking to James and David, you know, and they were saying they didn't feel like the $8 million was worth it. They kind of started from last week.
Yep.
You know, and he stood there and said, I'm going to have to come to some of these open houses more often.
Yeah.
They're eventful.
Yeah.
But he was pretty quiet except for when he got the offer on the property for the Laney house. I saw what I call her.
Was that her name?
Laney something.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what the last
it's
part.
the
It was
blonde.
Laney
It's the
somebody.
blonde girl that I thought was a man.
Oh, Laney Ziv.
Okay.
And her last name was Z-I-V.
Gosh, what a weird name.
Anyway,
That's
yeah,
okay.
she was an odd person anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm glad that's over because she was obnoxious to me, and I'm glad that she got her money, and I still don't understand it. Somebody tweeted in last week and said, you know, I don't think that she's selling the house for her mother-in-law. I think she's selling it for herself.
Yes.
And she wanted to get on TV. I hadn't even thought about it that way. But last night when they were negotiating, she said, I want my money.
Yeah.
Well, that's not her money if it's her mother-in-law's.
Yeah.
So it made me wonder if the person that,
Yep.
you know, had that vision of that,
Yep.
it was true.
It's an LA conspiracy.
It was funny. But I think she just wanted to get on TV, honestly.
Well, I think so too.
I just think she did. And she's a character. I mean, she should be in some kind of club at
Should
night.
be on
to
the
me.
Housewives
But
show.
anyway, yeah, she was, and maybe that's what she's trying to do.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah,
She
maybe.
wants a reality show.
Totally.
Doesn't everybody?
Not me.
Anyway, he got the house sold. I love the way that.
All right, let me stop you.
Okay.
Let's talk about the house.
Okay.
Big house.
Oh,
Last week
it
I
was
thought this may
nice.
be. I said last week.
Yep.
This may be the biggest house that we've seen on any LA show, in any series on $1 Million Listing. To say that. Say
Well,
the
it's
least.
not now.
It's price wise. I don't know square footage comparison, but it was a gorgeous house.
Oh, it was beautiful.
And the reason I thought it was so great is because it's personal preference. It's very traditional, had a lot of wood.
Yeah, it was nice.
Oh, man. You need to go back and look at the house if you haven't seen.
Oh, it was pretty.
Really nice house, big house. She didn't look like she would live in a house like that, quite honestly.
Well, she didn't, supposedly.
Well,
Her
I know. It was her
mother-in-law
mother-in-law, but still, I just don't see how she's even related to that. It
did.
just
I don't
doesn't.
think she had the taste that house had.
That's what I'm saying. She does not look like that house. So
Right.
I'm thinking that theory may be debunked a little bit, but
Yeah. It was interesting for somebody to come up with that, though.
what's interesting to me is how Flagg continues to get these properties. You know, his charisma is nothing. His hustle is laid back, and you know, you look at Altman and David and James, and they're out there running around like crazy, and you know, it's like Flagg shows up in a bathrobe almost.
Well, you're right.
You know, very
You're right.
slow, very. You know, it's a different energy.
It's a different style.
And that's totally fine, but it amazes me that he's still able to get those properties. And I guess that's just because his name is so established out there.
Yeah, and I think
Edith,
his grandmother.
I'm going
paved
to
the
tell
way.
you, I keep seeing things on the internet that just shows me how well established she was.
Yeah.
She was well
You can
known.
tell. Yeah,
very
you can
well
tell.
known. The NASDAQ in New York, I almost said Times Square. I don't know, maybe in Times Square, but I don't think so. It totally put up a huge, on their big old screen, put up a big picture of Edith and said you will be missed.
Oh,
And
really?
there's all kinds of newspaper articles, and it said that she influenced L.A. and New York culture, and
Yeah, she was a big deal.
She was.
And she
was.
must have done it on her own because her husband was killed in the Holocaust.
Yeah.
And she came to
Terrible.
America, you know, after that. So she did it on her own.
Yep.
And that's so neat to me to see her guiding him and her
Yep.
seeing him as her legacy. And, you know, I think it's just the sweetest thing.
Yep. So I know that has to play a role in his
yeah.
clientele, but you know, it's nice. You're able to act like that.
Well, you know, he's got to take it and be responsible and make it grow.
yeah.
You know, even though it's handed to him, you
Yeah.
know, he's got to do well with it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think Altman gets ticked off about.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
He threw that in his face and said, if it weren't for your grandmother, you wouldn't have anything.
well, I
you
remember
know?
last year or last season he insulted his grandmother or something, and he said, "You never insult my."
slapped him.
He
Yeah,
slapped him, but he also said, "You know, you're on a permanent vacation, buddy."
Yeah, that's what he said.
So I thought that was pretty good, but
Yeah.
you know, Flagg works hard.
He does.
You can tell.
He does.
Anyways, yeah. So he sold the big house, and the annoying. Well, I don't want to be respectful, but she was kind of annoying. Is out of
Yeah.
the picture, and hopefully we won't be seeing her next week.
Well, he sold it for $9 million, which is real close to what they
9,
wanted.
and she wanted 9.6. You know.
No, she wanted $9,395.
Well,
so that's
wasn't it
very
originally
close.
9.6?
No, there was.
I thought maybe I'm wrong.
He wanted to list it at $8.6 million.
Oh, 8.6
to begin with. He
Okay.
thought it was too high, and she said, "No, we're not taking anything less than that."
Yeah.
And
Well, he got 9.
Yeah.
Good for him.
yeah, so he did really well with
It's a
that.
nice house. So, anyways, that's what Josh Flagg did this episode. We'll finish up with Altman.
Yeah.
You want to talk about his attitude toward David and James. You don't like it. To me, I don't think he's not respectful to him by any means, but I haven't felt like it's been, I mean, yes, it's disrespectful, but it's not like a hate crime every week. It's not
No,
like
it
he's
hadn't been
verbally
that
abusing.
bad. No, and I'm not saying it is. I just don't like he treats them like they're new in real estate, and they're not. They've been
Yeah.
selling for 3 years in the same territory
Right.
that he's in. He needs to respect that because they're more of an equal with him than they are, you know, new to real estate. And I wish he would just be a little less arrogant.
But you know what I think? Josh smells a threat.
Well, yeah, he does.
He
Sure, he
smells
does. They
a-
go after the same listings.
Yep.
So,
Smells
I mean,
a threat.
it is competition, but there's healthy competition, and then there's, you know, envious competition. And
Yeah.
you need to keep that healthy. If you're confident in what you can do, you don't have to put anybody else down.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't care for, you
Yeah.
know. And we all know that happens in life and in business and every day. But, and it could be, like you said when I mentioned it before, TV. It could be for TV. They may say,
Yeah.
you know, try to make it a little more, you know, where there's a little competition between you or, you know, we don't know what they're telling them to do in the background.
Well, okay, and I'll tell you what I know about that. Madison Hildebrand did an interview somewhere, and he said that it's not scripted. He said, we do everything ourselves. He said, sometimes the producers will put in your ear, not demanding you start a conflict, but keep it in mind that conflict is interesting. And basically telling them, here's what we'd like to see. And whether they do that or not, it's up to them.
Oh, okay.
But in terms of creative control, that's what Madison said was the max. They don't require them to say things. They don't require them to follow a storyline. Most of the time it is just following them around in real life. But I think some of this back and forth between Altman and James and David, I think is maybe a little bit exaggerated.
It may be.
But
it may be.
It's all in good fun anyways. You know?
Yeah.
I guarantee you when they get together for the reunion, they're not avoiding each other.
Right.
I think they'd be fine.
And
so,
then Josh did, I don't know if we mentioned this or not, got hold of Danny. Danny was the one that had that big property. I believe was it on cul-de-sac? Anyway, it was listed for $7,995. He was a developer. And he staged the house. He staged the house for him.
Or is he the... Okay, yeah. I don't know if he's Iranian, but
Josh
he kind of looks like
had staged the house. And he and Matt... Is his name Matt?
Yep.
His brother? He and Matt found him at this... He was buying some wine. And
I thought this was a good... And I'll just cut you for a second. I thought it was a good thing that Josh said when you're on this level of luxury.
Yeah.
He said, don't expect these people to come to your office.
That's true.
Be prepared to go anywhere, wherever they are.
That's true, because you don't want to waste time.
Yeah.
And you want to get to them and get the contract.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, they'll put you off. And, in business, you get the contract signed. You don't give them weeks to think about it. Things change in that time.
I've definitely learned that.
But it was interesting how he let Matt handle it. Matt came into the program a little more this time, and Matt went out and handled the negotiation, and they ended up getting $7,450 for the house, which was absolutely what he wanted.
Yep.
It was awesome. Altman did good with that.
Did a great job.
Because he got the listing. He went in and did that on the basis of the staging. He had his brother help him, and they did a great job with that listing and got a good price on it. So kudos to them. They did a good job this week.
Yep. I thought it was cool. He said that, and then Matt went outside and just got it done. It was great.
Yeah. And I like the fact that he showed that he is working with his brother more, because I think that's why we don't think in terms of them as brothers. We don't see Matt much.
Right.
We see Josh. Maybe Matt doesn't want to be on TV that much. I don't know what's going on with that. But he has always said, I learned everything I know from my brother.
Yeah,
Josh
that was
has.
interesting.
So evidently Matt was in it way before Josh or something.
Yeah.
So I liked the way he deferred to Matt last night and let him handle the negotiations.
Yeah.
Because he had full, confidence in him.
Said he learned everything from Matt.
Which was interesting.
That was good to hear.
I think it's neat that they're working together. I just hope he's going to be decent during all the wedding planning.
LA's giving New York some, we'll talk about the wedding.
I hope he's not going to get ugly with her, because she's been through a lot with him.
That'll be something to stay tuned for, to see what happens there. I think she's getting cut out a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like it. And the preview showed that she was, of course, we don't know if that's next week or whatever. Yeah. This shows the season, but she looked like she was getting kind of like he is controlling. And he's probably going to want to control that whole thing too. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think he'd be hard to live with, honestly. I think he'd be hard to live with. Yeah. He has a hard time compartmentalizing, to me.
Interesting.
It's hard for him to let down when he gets home, because he's just racing because of all the negotiating and the dealing and I think it's going to be hard for him to let down. See, I noticed a difference in New York when Ryan. See, I figured Ryan was going to be that way too, and then when Ryan met, what's her name? I forgot her name. Amelia. Mm-hmm. He's gotten different. He's making time to go home. He said, I like to go home at night now. He's getting calmer.
You're totally right.
Yeah,
and speaking of Ryan, he's going to be on LA sometime soon.
Oh, that's right. We did see a clip of that. Yeah, that's true.
Everybody's excited. I read that on Twitter. Everybody's
That is going to be interesting, yeah.
I think New York is the dominant show in terms of...
I think so, too.
I think they're very equal. I like them both. But a lot of people like New York, and I think it's been around longer.
I think it was the first one, yeah. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. I'll have to look. LA's been on for 6 years.
We saw some old episodes of LA. You remember that way back
really
when?
Old.
Yeah, so I don't know. It may have started in LA, spread to New York, and then...
Shout out to Chad.
But they did have some really good... Yeah, Chad Rogers. Hey, Chad.
Tweeted.
You're looking good, buddy.
He got a little angry at me.
Good.
I tweeted him. I said, Chad looks like the Hulk now. Or I tweeted somebody, and he found it.
But you meant it in a nice way, because you had showed it to me, and I said, oh, he looks awesome.
And I said, you look like the Hulk in a good way.
Yeah, he looked great.
He's ripped. And he said, well, I took it that way or something, so it was funny.
But it was interesting seeing that he's doing so well. Yeah, that's good.
He just looks like he's loving life. Good for Chad. He's learning guitar.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I saw he's playing around with electric guitar.
Wow.
He's taking lessons now.
Is he still selling real estate?
Yeah. Oh, man, he's selling lots.
I can't believe it.
It amazes me.
I think he came from a big family, too.
Oh, it had to been.
I think so.
He is making it.
Interesting though. It's interesting to see the ones that
Big old
come
place.
from the families.
He's
that,
doing about 20 million.
Oh, gee,
He's in that market.
Really?
I mean, he may be as big as or bigger than Josh Flagg.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, anyways, that's this week on
It was a
Million
good one.
Dollar
Good
Listing
one.
LA. I thought it was a great episode.
Oh, I enjoyed it, and I'm enjoying the new guys.
I hope
They're
we're
just
not.
fun.
I really like David and James, and I've
different.
enjoyed getting to know them more on a more personal level on Twitter. Being able to communicate with them on Twitter is just a great thing.
Yeah.
And you get into conversations with other viewers too, and it's a lot of fun.
I like the different ideas that people bring to it.
Yeah.
Just like I was saying, somebody had brought up about Lainey, thinking that, that really wasn't her mother-in-law's house. It was hers and, all that kind of stuff. I hadn't thought about that.
Nope.
So it's fun to get different ideas of what people think. So give us some feedback. It's fun to get different ideas about the storyline.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be able to have live callers next week, and
that's
it's going to be a
right.
lot of fun. Maybe we'll get some callers, and
Oh, yeah, that will be fun.
we'll see how many real-time viewers we get. It depends on the show size.
Yeah.
LA's bigger than Miami, but compared LA to something like Celebrity Apprentice,
Yeah.
it's just, or some popular show. It depends. So we'll see if there's, it depends on how many viewers, but we'll see, and it'll be fun to do it real time
It will.
and have other people join us. That just adds another element.
Yeah, it will.
So we'll do that, and maybe David and James are interested in coming on. And so
Yeah,
we'll
that'd be
get there.
great.
Tweet us at the Mac Media Show. You can follow at the Mac Media Show on Twitter, and tell us what you think. Get involved, and the show's going to be launching in a couple weeks, and there's a program that I'll be releasing, and it's going to be awesome. I really like seeing social media. What I do, if you don't know, is a social media marketing, basically on videos on YouTube, primarily I'm teaching you basically the things that you need to do in order to apply social media marketing to your business. And you see in these LA episodes, they all focus on social media. It's a big part of their real estate marketing now, much more than traditional flyers and handing out cards, and you can do it all on the internet now through that. And those that are selling big ticket items, big commercial companies, they're all getting into this space, and you're going to see that trickle down to small business here in the next couple of years. So you're going to need to know how to do it exactly, what buttons to press, and when to press them. We're going through that. So tweet us at the Mac Media Show. You can subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/the Mac Media Show, and it's free for those that don't know. Subscribing just gives you an update. It doesn't give me your email or anything. It just shows you the videos when we upload. So you can do that if you want. That's it. Good episode, Ree.
It was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yep. Looking forward to another great week.
Yeah.
I hope everybody has a great week. I'm leaving you with the quote, and it is, "The only place success comes before work is in the dictionary." Think about it. Write it down. Apply it to your life. Ree likes that one. And have a good week.
Yeah. See you next week.
See you next week.